and welcome to episode 7 of From Dust Before It Settled, our IRONSWORN mini campaign here on Twitch. It's been 2 weeks since we last played, and we're actually here. It hasn't been 5 months or anything like that. I probably just jinxed us, knock on wood. And faces are in all of the wrong places, because that's the step that I forgot to do today.
We've been here for 20 minutes.
We have.
Today the role of Kiana is being played by Jess.
Jess goes here.
I love being Jess.
Kiana goes here. Summer goes
Kiana,
there. There
you
we
get to be
go.
Summer.
Oh my god. Good job, Dylan.
Whatever.
Well, also, Jesus, thank you for the 28-month resub, Summer. Speaking of Summer.
Me? Hi.
How are you? How have you been?
I'm so good. So good. My life's in the gutter.
Oh no.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Really good. Woo. I'm here every Monday, so it's weird for me to be like to recap my recap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, past 2 weeks have been good. We released both of the penultimate episodes of Missing Annie Lee, so there are only finales left, which is a crazy thing that has been going on. Like, me and Lauren conceptualized the idea over a year ago. And then obviously Salty Sweet Games and Off the Table have been working together, and it's just been amazing. We've done a lot of shit, and it's just, I don't know, it's so crazy to see it like all coming to a close. And people still watching, and like even today we had one of friends of the channel, the Lady Dame, start listening to the podcast, and she's been binging it this morning, like today.
Awesome.
And so it's been really exciting to see, like, you know, friends still picking it up and listening to it and getting really into it. Makes us feel really good that we produce something that I'm super proud of. And then, yeah, the only other thing, we talked about me playing GTA a lot last time we were here. That's still happening. That's still a thing that is an ongoing issue in my life.
Yep.
But I'm a horse girl now. Now I'm also a horse girl. You knew me as like Summer the city girl. Now I'm Summer the horse girl. I started playing, so I had never played GTA before I got into No Pixel. So like I played GTA as part of a roleplay server and learned how to play the game that way. Don't know what the actual game's like literally at all.
Right.
Same thing is happening with Red Dead Redemption 2, where I never played that game, literally have no idea what you do in that game. I'm getting an idea, I guess. You're cowboy, right? But
yeah, basically.
I joined a roleplay server for Red Dead Redemption 2 called Wild West RP, and I started playing in that this week. And I have a horse now, and I shoot a gun, which is, I'm bad at it, but I'm getting better at it.
You're getting better.
I'm getting better, and I know how to lasso. I learned how to aim, and I learned how to lasso, and I have a horse and named Baby, and he's
an
a Shire.
enormous
he's
horse.
massive. The biggest
Baby.
horse you can possibly get in the game. Yeah, I dwarf everyone. It's amazing. Like, just like miles above everybody. It's so good. Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of that too, and it's actually interesting because for GTA, I ported over a character that I was playing in Urban Shadows. So Bunny is a character that I was playing. She's a fae, and I just modernized her and made her fit for a modern, no magic world.
Yeah.
And the character, I did the same thing for Wild West RP, but I took Angel Abernathy, who's my character from Missing Annie Lee, and I ported her over into the Wild West. And so that has been really fun playing Angel, but cowgirl, like cowgirl Angel. And I've taken a lot of elements from, if you've been catching that, if you've been watching me do any of that, she's in, you know, New Alexandria looking for Annie Lee, which is the premise of, you know, Missing Annie Lee. So it's been really fun to do that. Yeah, just been editing a lot for these finales, been playing those games, been streaming, been here playing Darkfall, Ghost Vigil with burning boys and screaming girls.
Darkfall, Snakes and Ladders.
Darkfall, Snakes and Ladders, the saddest 30 minutes of gaming in history.
It was so bad. So spoilers for Monday's YouTube video. But
Spoiler alert.
last time we played, we were dealing with the ghost of a young boy who liked playing board games, and the board game that he wanted to play with us was Chutes and Ladders. And Chutes and Ladders is entirely random. There's no strategy, there's no like real gameplay. You just roll a die and then move along the board a number of spaces indicated by the die, and if you land on a ladder, then you get to go up the ladder to this place that it stops at, and if you land on the head of a snake, you go down the snake down to wherever its tail ends up. And if you beat the ghost, the kid gets angry and lights the room on fire, and you have to leave and come back and try again. And if you lose, then you progress the game forward. And this is a thing that you have to do. Now, a way that one, as a game developer, could implement this is to just be like, hey, you press the die, and it rolls, and you'll go down a predetermined path of a believable game of Snakes and Ladders that will get you to the point that you need to get in the game. Or you could take the time to completely program the entirety of the game Snakes and Ladders into your point-and-click adventure game and have it actually be RNG the whole way through.
Yeah.
And they made a choice, and I don't know that I agree that it was a good one.
I know that I don't agree that it was a good choice. It was a bad choice. But yeah, that was a wild like 30 minutes of that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just been good. Had some Pulp Cthulhu over on Salty Sweet Games this morning, which we are still playing a year and plus later. But it's still so fun and so exciting. We had a really, really exciting morning with some combat, some gorillas, some sneak attacks. I don't know. It was good. It was really good. Some crazy visions. Yeah, been good though. Excited for this. Excited to be a bird.
Hell
Bird
yeah.
girl in bird world.
Kiana, how you been? Speaking of that Pulp Cthulhu game, I heard you got punched by a gorilla today?
Yes, I sure did, because I made some choices. To give some context, we were in the house of a ally ?
Mhm.
And we were having dinner. And Irene, my character, is the only one who heard some strange scuffling going on, and so she excused herself to go to the bathroom and go see what was up. And as part of entering our ally's house, we had to give up a weapon, so we're unarmed too. So I'm just going in, seeing what's up, and I see a bunch of cultists have snuck in and have ambushed a bunch of the guards. And I realized, well, I don't have my weapons. I'm not great at brawling. I'm really best at shooting things. But I do know that there's a private room over there that has our allies' 2 pet gorillas in it.
Uh-huh.
So I ran into there, knocked over a bunch of stuff, and went, hey, look at me. I look like an intruder. Follow me out here.
Uh-huh.
And so they did. One of them went, oh, the guards are being attacked. I'm gonna go punch and bite some cultists. The other one went, you know what? No, fuck you. And went after me and rolled an extreme. So I got max damage, punched by a gorilla for 12 damage out of my 30 HP. Thankfully, Charlie Summers' character helped get the gorilla off of Irene. And eventually, it was enough noise to get the rest of the party to show up. Be like,
That's good.
what's going on? Oh, there's a bunch of cultists that snuck in. So my plan worked. just at the cost of 12 HP. um,
It's okay. Health is a resource.
probably a cracked rib getting
Oof.
punched by a gorilla. It's cool. It's fine. So yeah, so that's how I started. That's how I did my morning of role playing. So we'll see what choices I make tonight, I guess.
Oh boy. Hopefully there will be
Yeah.
fewer gorillas.
Hopefully fewer gorillas.
That sounds like a decision you get to make, Dylan.
I don't make decisions in this game. This game pilots itself, and I just sort of interpret it.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
had that this. Yeah. So I had that this morning. I guess in terms of other stuff. Oh yeah. Since the last time we've been here, we launched Archon on
Yeah.
itch.io, which is really good. Jason and I, when we launched it, we were like, like if we hit our goal, like by end of month, that'll be real good.
Mm-hmm.
We hit our goal in 24 hours.
Yeah, you
and then we
did.
hit our stretch goals in 72 hours.
Yeah,
And
you
we were just
did.
like, fuck. Because we were just like, oh, we'll take a break for like a week after we launch so that we can. No, we did not take a break. We immediately like, well, okay, now I guess we should start talking about next steps and stuff. So yeah, so we managed to get to pull together some of our writers for our expansion, which is really cool. We get to announce that really shortly. Also pulled together artists, and we also got into a print partnership with Metal Weave Games. So they're going to be
Fuck yeah.
printing Archon 2.0. So they're going to be printing that, and they'll also be printing the systems light or the rules light system for Archon that we're going to be making, because we set this like, let's just do this wild stretch goal, and if people like it that much, we'll make a game. Here we are.
Surprise! Yeah, y'all are almost at 400% of your initial goal now.
Yeah. So basically, the next goal is just pay me and Jason more money, because we're currently paying ourselves about 3 cents a word,
Mhm.
and that's with the current stuff, not counting all the stuff we're gonna have to write and lay out. So it's just more money. Forgive us to make it at least decent while we do more work. So
Mhm. So yeah, I actually linked that in chat. I yelled about it for several days.
You did.
When they launched. It is a very cool project. We will probably shout it out again at the end of the stream. But it would be nice to get them to at least 500% hit that last stretch goal. Because it's a really cool project. You've talked a lot about your opinions of cyberpunk as a genre, and how sort of there's a trend in cyberpunk fiction to move toward what you were calling cyberpop, which is like the pop aesthetics of cyberpunk with none of the actual content, like none of the meaningful content and philosophy of the genre, and how Archon is like eschewing this weird like commercialized construct of cyberpunk, like the hyper nihilism and the like just the worst parts of cyberpunk as a concept, in order to re-grapple with the base like economic and cultural roots of the genre.
For sure. Yeah, I mean,
Holy
I've yelled a
fuck.
lot about it on the internet, so yeah, it's about time that we made something about it. So holy shit, Grant! So I had to look over at chat.
Thanks, Grant. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that's really fucking cool. It's a cool project.
Yeah, very excited about that. And now we're at the point of like, if we hit our stretch goal by the end of the month, we'll be happy. I don't even have to worry about that. So yeah. So yeah, very happy about it. And we've got some really, really cool and good feedback too. Like, so there'll be changes and improvements too. So gonna be good.
Thanks so much. Oh fuck. I can focus on a show. Also, we did a thing earlier today. We
We
hung out
did.
and talked about some E3 stuff.
Yeah, this is my
Um,
third stream of the day.
Yeah,
I made
I'm
choices
sorry.
today.
And that was surprisingly fun. There were some really cool games today.
Yes.
Thanks again. Thank you. Really, we might have hit my sub goal just now, I think. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. Thank you. Yeah, so that was fun, and we're gonna be doing more tomorrow. Yeah, I don't do goals or anything on the overlay for this stream because I hate promoting myself ever, basically. Jesus, thank you, Grant. But yeah, I was trying to get up to to 40 subs this month. Thank you. Yeah, okay, focus up, Dylan. We did that earlier, it was fun. We're gonna be doing more of that tomorrow. What else have you been up to? Please talk.
God. I'm trying to think of what else I've been into because my life has mostly just been Archon and the streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
You
yeah.
started playing Vermintide recently. I saw that.
Yes, I
How have you been
have.
liking it?
I have no idea what the lore is. I don't know Warhammer. Shit just happens, and I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So like, let us do. Oh wow, hype train. All right, let's go.
I guess we're doing this now. Thanks.
Oops, hand slipped. Yeah. I know like the tiniest bit of Warhammer stuff because I've had friends who like play the. I have either played like the actual war game or have played like the TTRPG.
Mm-hmm.
So I like there are words that I'm like, oh, Sigmar. Yes, I know that word.
Yeah.
I stuff like that.
Sigmar.
But like otherwise, I'm just here and I'm just like, I hit things good. I'm a mercenary and I just hit things real hard with a sword. Cool. That's
Mhm.
all I need to know. So yeah, like I'm usually most people know that I like, very story focused games. I like very like indie stuff. But I also do enjoy like Left 4 Dead-esque, shooters and that type of stuff, where it's just like, all right, let's just go and charge into some mobs and hit them. And Vermintide has been great because it's the melee part of Left 4 Dead, but all of it is just melee, and then there's
Right.
also you can also do ranged, but it's great for me because I'm the person who would just be like in Left 4 Dead, it's just like, I'm just gonna take this katana and just go in. I don't really care if I get hit. So I get to do that in this
Nice.
game. So yeah, it's been fun. I've been enjoying trying it out, even if I just don't understand anything that's going on behind the scenes. Like I'm just like, oh, all right, we just rat people. There's things called berserkers. There's things called monster. How is there a monster versus the rat people? I don't know. I'm just here.
Hit bad guys. Get
I'm
loot.
just gonna hit the bad guys and hope I don't die.
Legit. Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, just I've been taking a lot more time to just do like video games and stuff for myself. So
That's good.
Vermintide's been my latest experimentation in that, and it's been good. I'm more
Vermintide's
motivated
fun.
to do. I'm more motivated to do it with like friends. So like,
Yeah.
I know enough people who have Vermintide, and that's how I started playing it. They're like, you should try this
Gotcha.
because you like Left 4 Dead stuff. I'm like, yeah, I do. I'm gonna have no idea what's going on, but okay.
Whatever works.
Yeah,
Just
it's totally
attack
fine.
rat people. That's all you need to
Yeah,
know.
that's basically it. I'm like, cool. Yeah, I've been playing the Mercenary and the Pyromancer the most, and I didn't realize with the Pyromancer that if you don't let your meter go down, you will explode of overcharged magic. And I was like,
Great.
oh, okay. Oops. I just killed myself that first time.
Yep.
Whoops.
Yeah. Mhm. Done that.
Yep, I was like, what's this meter? Oh, that's what the meter's for. Not
Oh.
blow yourself up.
Burn stuff a lot, but not too much.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
just right in that sweet spot of burning stuff.
Well, awesome. I'm glad that you're taking some time to do not work things.
Yes.
I feel like if people have been watching this, Jesus Christ, watching this show for a long time, they have heard many times you'd be like, "Oh, I worked a lot this week." So it's good to hear that you have like a couple of really big, exciting things, but also you're taking some time for yourself. That's good. Also, Jesus Christ, everyone.
367% level 5 hype train.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I didn't do
Um,
it for you. I needed 5 more gift subs to get my next badge.
Oh, great. Yeah, you're welcome.
It wasn't for you.
that.
It was for my badge.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, I don't usually do like live thank yous and stuff during RPG shows, but Jesus, good Lord, everyone, thank you. Jess, how have you been? But also, did I notice that you have a Ryutama mug?
What? No, this is
Okay.
Ireland mug.
Ireland. Oh,
Souvenir from my
out of the
relatives.
corner of my eyes, it looks like the cover to
It's
the
an
to
Ireland
Ryutama.
mug. Get it
Man,
straight.
fuck Ireland. Where's Ryutama? How are you?
That book is on my shelf. I could see the confusion. Oh my, what?
What?
Anyway, everyone is just gonna be subbed to your channel for like
I
the next year.
guess. I guess. Thank you for the hype train has concluded. Thank you everyone. Enjoy your hype emotes.
Level 5 hype.
Wow. Wowza.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Jess, this time is for you.
How do I compete with that?
I don't know.
What the fuck have I been doing?
I don't know. You play visual novels?
I mean, yes, my streams continue, and we're about to wrap up a thing. I played Yellow King last night with that Ethan is running for Grant and Lindy and Yutsai and I, and we are in the second book of the larger campaign, so it's set in kind of like a alternate history world war. The tricky thing here is that it's an alternate history in the sense that World War I didn't happen.
Huh.
But it's in like the era of World War II, and Carcosan technology and what Carcosa has like merged with the world and shit. So everything is ever so slightly weird. I somehow got nominated to be the lieutenant of our group, my character. Which means I'm the player that sort of calls the shots and has final say on decisions. I don't know why that happened. I nearly got us killed last night, I think, but it's fine. We were just trapped on a submarine with a thing called a soul butcher, which is a formless being from the Black Stars that haunts your brain until you commit war crimes.
Oh, fun. Good times.
No big deal.
Yikes.
Yes, it was a yellow submarine for anyone who's wondering.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Anyway, Gumshoe is an amazing game. The Yellow King stuff in specific is amazing. So that's been fun. I've started running a Ryutama campaign again, based off of the thing I ran here on Fun Shots a while back. I'm like dusting that off and tweaking it. We played Guilty Gear Strive on stream last night. Did you know, in fact, that fighting game comes with an entire anime just built into it?
Wait, what?
The story
Guilty
mode is
Gears
just
is
straight up an
wild.
anime
Guilty
using the
Gears
game
is-
engine.
Guilty Gears is so much in terms of that. It's just like, hello.
Yes.
Which is just like,
Yes.
and it's very esoteric lore too. So you're just like,
The lore is so deep, and I've like been a fan of the series since it came out, like years and years ago. So I unfortunately know some of that lore from way back. But man, there's a lot happening. But yeah, no, the story mode is just like you literally watch it start to finish. There's no interacting. It's just a goddamn movie using the game engine.
Huh, cool.
It's crazy good.
I like that a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's been excellent. And it's probably going to take over Fridays for a little while.
Nice. It's
Yeah.
Guilty Gear is an interesting animation challenge because they managed to make it look like anime while still being 3D.
Mm-hmm.
And they have done a phenomenal job of it.
Mm-hmm. They do some interesting wizardry around like messing with the frame rates and
Yep.
adding smear frames and stuff to like make it look more 2D.
Mm-hmm.
But then you get this the like wildness of in certain moves you can knock them into another part of the whole stage, which is very 3D, and the camera turns and you get all this
Yeah.
perspective stuff that's just wow. It's sorcery.
Yeah. There's a video on New Frame Plus, I believe, that was talking about not just Guilty Gear, but like I think it was animation and fighting games in general. That did a really good breakdown of how it all works and how they achieved it.
Arxis in particular has kind of been leading that charge because they're responsible for Guilty Gear and the Dragon Ball fighting game as well.
Yeah, that's the one. It was about Guilty Gear and the Dragon Ball one.
Yep, they do some really, really cool stuff. And it's also got a super sick metal soundtrack that stands entirely on its own. So what more do you want?
Fuck yeah.
Pay $60, you get an anime, a fighting game, and a metal album.
What a deal! Oh my goodness. Awesome. Well, I look forward to stopping in for some of those. I'm trying to watch people's streams again. There was a while where I was just like, I don't watch Twitch anymore. And so I've been trying to get back into actually watching people's stuff instead of just retweeting it.
It's hard.
It is, but it's rewarding and I like it, and I like hanging out with y'all, so it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I hang out on Summer Stream a lot. That's what I've been up to. I played some games. Did E3 stuff this morning. There were a couple things that I was very excited about and a couple things that I was like, okay, cool. I was surprised to see the Avatar game get mentioned. The not the last Airbender, but the James Cameron, the blue people USB hair one. There's a video game coming out apparently. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. I had no idea that was even in development. And Ubisoft ended their conference with like this trailer, this in-engine trailer of it, and it looks fucking beautiful. But also I'm like, video game movies are never good, and so I'm like, I'm stressed about it, because video game movies are never good, or movie video games are never good. But at the same time, like, part of the reason why movie video games are always so bad is because they get given to teeny tiny third-party developers that don't have a lot of experience, and then also the studios don't give them any operating budget. And so you get these like really rushed games from people without a whole lot of like industry pull and experience, and it just turns into a mess. But I mean, it's Ubisoft, right? They have nothing but production quality, essentially. Like, damn. So I don't know. We'll see. We didn't get any gameplay out of it today, really. But apparently, it's going to be like a first-person, the potentially open world type thing, which sounds like the right genre for an Avatar game.
Seems like a good choice for that setting, because like
for sure.
If there was anything that was a strong point about the movie, it was the setting and world building a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the story and script was kind of completely throwaway.
Yeah, it was Pocahontas with the serial number
Space
scratched
Fern
off.
Belly, Space
Yeah, it
Pocahontas,
was.
take your pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, but the world, like the setting, the scenery is gorgeous in that movie. So
Yeah.
might as well do that.
And that's the thing is like watching the trailer. They didn't say what the trailer was going to be for. They were just like, and now we, in a very French accent, we have another thing for you to watch. Here you go. Here you go, because they don't do H's. And it like opened on some jungle flora, and I was like, damn, I mean, this looks good. They mentioned the engine, and they were like, it's in this new engine. I was like, it looks great. And then we saw some weird like dinosaur creatures, and I was like, wait, what the fuck? I mean, that looks cool. And then it was like, Navi, we got blue aliens, and I was like, what the fuck? They're making an Avatar video game? Like,
so weird. They've just been like quiet about it this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people mentioned that it's been a thing, I guess. I just had never heard of it. But yeah, so that was interesting. But there were definitely a couple games that I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play that. Like Death's Door looked really good, and Rainbow Six Extraction looked really good, which previously was titled Rainbow Six Quarantine. And then 2020 happened, and they changed the name. So yeah, they announced it at E3 2019. They were like, Rainbow Six Quarantine. I was like, ooh, that sounds cool. And then less than a year later, everyone was in quarantine, and I guess they decided a different name would be appropriate.
Someone made a very smart decision.
It could have been worse. It could have been Rainbow Six Pandemic.
No.
How about no, though?
How about no, though? But yeah, so that's what I've been up to. I'm excited to get back into this. I'm stoked that we're doing it 2 sessions in a row successfully. Let's do it. And yeah, do you want to hop into some recap? Rainbow Six, please?
Hell yeah.
All right. So previously on From Dust, before it settled, essentially only one thing happened last session, which was an extended and harrowing combat with a horrifying otherworldly creature. No one escaped unscathed. Verlin got run through with her own sword. Not got consumed by one of the creature's many mouths. Ash had his arm almost chewed off. Like everyone came out of that fight a lot worse than they went into it. But through some acts of bravery and last minute strength, they did manage to fight back, and if not ultimately vanquish the creature, drive it off and save each other, which was the most important bit. They set aside, they sat aside for a minute to recuperate, but not having been devoured by this monster and losing connection to her avian form, was sort of out of it for a bit. She just wasn't herself, both literally and emotionally, and wandered off to climb a tree with the express purpose of jumping out of it in the hopes that she would turn back into a bird on the way down. Ash fortunately managed to talk her out of that particular course of action and talked her back down. Everyone being a little bit rattled, a lot a bit worse for wear, just sort of sat and began to recuperate. But Ash, after the fight, had noticed the flap of Alvara's tent move as she went back inside. Alvara being the elven artist and painter that they encountered the day before, and who had set up camp next to them with their permission. Knowing that his friends were safe enough and back on the ground, Ash went to speak to Alvara about what had happened. And after a short negotiation and breaking the circle of iron and salt that ringed her tent, Ash agreed to enter the tent and speak with her alone. And that is where we come in today.
I may have made a terrible choice.
So yeah, you enter. It's a fairly well appointed tent. It's got she has some furs set aside instead of like a stitched bedroll. She has a pile of furs for warmth and softness. There's a small folding table with a kettle set on it. And there's a collapsible easel with some rolled canvases next to it, also in the side of the room, or the side of the tent. And there's enough space, I think, for both of you to sit in it comfortably, without being like right on top of each other in an awkward fashion.
It's a big tent.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Damn.
The material seems like insulating, but fairly fine and thin. So it likely rolls tight. And she sits down, laying the small crossbow that she was holding across her folded legs, and looks at you. You wanted to speak?
Did you hear anything that was going on outside?
I heard some scuffling and grew concerned. But when I looked out, the three of you seemed well enough.
That seems sus.
Do you want to?
Because we were fighting that thing for a long time. He's not satisfied with that answer, but I don't honestly know what I could
gather information.
do
I think.
Sure. Just like discern her honesty.
When
I
you
guess?
ask questions, conduct an investigation or follow a track. Yeah.
All right.
You're asking questions.
Sure. That's wits, which I think I suck the most at, but that's fine.
A weak hit, though. On a weak hit, the information complicates your quest or introduces a new danger.
Hot.
Ooh, you do take +1 momentum.
Okay. Neat.
Yeah, she's clearly not to be completely honest with you. And it's partially defensive. Like she's keeping herself safe.
Sure.
But I think there's an element that you pick up of intentionality. Right, she's not surprised by anything that is being said or by the situation. She's not surprised by it, which implies that she was keeping this from you before.
Okay. I get the impression you're not being entirely honest with me.
What reason do I have to lie?
I don't know. That's what I'm hoping to find out. We were fighting something outside for quite a while. You could not have avoided hearing it.
I'm surprised. I thought you capable. What was it, a bear?
No. Did you know there were creatures in this woods? Strange creatures.
No. She does seem to be telling the truth there.
Okay. 2 bears. Some sort of void monster is the best way I can describe it. Just a mass of nothing. And teeth. He just kind of looks to his arm. Quite a lot of teeth.
I suppose it would be in our best interest to leave this place soon, then.
Where were you headed?
Back towards the Ironlands.
She was going in
Somewhere
what,
with
the opposite
roofs.
direction of us? Or?
Yeah, so y'all are heading
Yeah.
north, and she was heading south, away from the mountains. What she told you yesterday was that she had been up in the mountains, like drawing and painting and stuff. The beautiful landscapes that are up there, and that she was headed back toward more civilization. You did ask her why she was traveling alone, and she mentioned that not many people felt compelled to go that far north.
For sure.
So.
Okay. Yeah, and did we know like how long she'd been out up here by herself?
I don't believe so.
Okay. I think it would still ping him strange that like she's apparently been traveling out here all on her own and never ran into this like thing.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of watches her again as he asks the question and like sees what she does as she talks. I find it a bit strange that you've been out here by yourself for however long it's been and you never ran across anything like that.
You definitely struck something there. There are many strange things to run across in the wilderness, but a creature
That is
like
the
that.
answer of someone who has seen them.
What is it that you want, soldier?
Not accusing you of anything, but we are headed north and it would be good to know what else to look for if you know anything.
You need not worry yourself.
Why do you say that?
Well, further north, the creatures you encounter surely will be different.
He's not saying anything for a fairly long moment, but he is just kind of looking at her, and the effect is generally a bit unsettling. Because he probably doesn't blink as much as he should.
Yeah. Or breathe.
Right. Yeah.
I think the armor helps hide that fact.
Yes.
But
yes. The noticeable lack of living motion is kind of obvious when he's deliberate about it.
I think at this point, so she was telling the truth about that. Like, she's still being cagey. She's not telling you everything. But you notice, now that you have some time and your eyes have adjusted to the lantern light inside the tent, that the bolt of her crossbow it's not like a iron tip on a wooden bolt, which is
Mhm.
typical. It's a solid silver bolt, essentially, all the way
Sure.
through. But
So
for
she's
the,
loaded to
for the
handle
veins.
spooky things.
Yeah.
Okay. I see you come well prepared. Not too many people know to use silver, unless you're a hunter. Like hunter with a capital H.
I know how to keep myself safe.
From what? You're not telling me everything and I can see it.
I am sorry that you got caught up in this. It was not my intent, I promise you.
He'll just let her keep speaking.
His name is Zular.
Someone you know?
I thought so. He has followed me from the southern deserts. I had hoped to lose him, but no such luck.
You know why he's following you?
I, when we are young, sometimes we make foolish promises. We don't know what we are agreeing to. Not really. You know, we agree to take on the family business, chain ourselves to it. We marry our best friend. Or we are told that there is knowledge that is lost that could be given to us.
I see. I won't pry for details. That is your business. But if you know something that would be helpful if we run across this thing again...
You won't. He's following me.
And you're headed south into the Ironlands?
Where do I have to go? The mountains are closed. There is no way to escape the stars. And where the stars
Under the
are,
ground?
so is he. I tried.
I see.
I looked for months. It's all sealed.
Maybe not for much longer, if we have our way. That's why we're headed north.
You are looking to break into Jupgard.
Find a way in.
If there is an open way, I did not find it.
Well, and he kind of pauses a moment, thinking it over. Seems unwise to head into civilized areas by yourself, with something like that following you.
Perhaps with more people, he will be less bold.
Has that been true in the past?
I don't think she answers.
He just kind of nods, with a grim sort of understanding. I would welcome you, but I need to talk to my companions. They used to do this sort of thing for a living.
Do not make promises when you don't know what you're promising to.
Well, I only have one thing left to do, and then I have nothing else to regret. I will talk to them. The choice is ultimately yours.
I will think on it. As I'm sure you will.
Fix your salt circle. Sorry about that. He grabs his sword up from where he kind of stuck it into the ground and
I think she
sheathes it.
like stands up before you and pushes out of the tent like immediately in a panic.
He steps to the other side before she can do fix that.
Yeah, you can like feel the air energize as she recloses the circle. And she looks suspiciously at you. Not in Verlin, you can see them now as they leave the tent. She looks suspiciously at you. And what are you?
Didn't die properly once. But I'm still here.
Your own kind of promise, I suppose.
Yes.
She relaxes a little bit, actually. Very well. I wish... and she'll look more toward y'all's camp and look at Verlin and not. I wish you a restful night.
We'll speak more in the morning. Get some rest. And he just kind of gives a fist to his chest and turns to head back to the camp with the rest.
Yeah. And I think with that conversation ahead of us, we're at the top of the hour. This is a good place for us to head to our first break. Step aside for a little bit, stretch your legs, get some water. And when we return, we will see what Not in Verlin think about that idea.
We're just gonna keep adopting people.
I know what I want, and it's very simple.
Oh no. All right,
no.
see you soon. Hello and welcome back. Hello and welcome back
kitten.
to Jess's cat is being a tiny bastard.
Little
Not so
butt.
tiny anymore bastard.
Little baby.
Hello. Oh, did he just bap you on the face?
He tried. He's
Hi, Ivan.
he's a chaotic little bastard.
Bye, Ivan. Oh my goodness. Okay, so you spoke with Alvara, had a conversation, and then
Yes.
came back to your party mates. Verlin and Not, both of you feel like absolute crap right now, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, my bird form. My bird form.
Your bird form
One
is
of them,
gone.
one in, psychological not greatness, and the other is physical not greatness.
You're
Yeah.
actually both, because you're at only +2
I
on both
am
health and
both.
spirit.
Yeah. Not doing great right now.
Yeah.
You have
My
more
health is
than
fine.
me.
My health is fine. My spirit is broken.
But yeah, so
Ash is at +1 health. Ow.
Well, we're fucked up here.
yeah,
Yup.
you see Ash come out of Alvara's tent and cross over the circle as she repairs it, and then she bids you a restful night, goes back into her tent, and the lantern fades as Ash approaches. What do you do?
I think Not spent a lot of time in the tree before she finally came down. And is just kind of sitting. I'm assuming we like started up a fire and all that good stuff. And so Not's just kind of
Yeah.
chilling by the fire, like has her hands like put out over it, like in not a normal way, but in a way that she's like, I've seen people do this before, I think. Like
Yeah, like
in
straight
a very like
arm lock
posy,
elbow.
yeah, straight arm lock elbow, hands like completely spread open like this, just like over the fire, staring into it, just like totally out of it, totally spaced out. Yeah, but I think as Ash starts to come back over, she'll look at him. Well,
He just kind of sighs and then sits down and sets his sword and whatnot aside. We more or less have her to thank for the thing that appeared. Not by intent, but it was following her.
oh, I don't know that I'd say thank you for that.
I don't know the details, but it's something she's been trying to escape for a long time.
So, not dead.
I have my doubts about it, yes.
Well, that's too bad. I don't know how she's dealing with that all on her own.
Not well, I would imagine.
It did something bad to me.
What happened
Right.
while you were in there?
It did eat you.
Oh, on top of that.
To be clear, the loss of bird form was the being eaten. It was the damage to the companion asset. Okay.
Yeah, I know. But it feels like an additional thing to her, like, right? Like she's like,
Legit,
I was
yeah.
eating, I was fine with that. Like if I had been eaten and killed, okay, great. The thing that we've been over this. Not doesn't think she can die. She really doesn't think she can die until she finds the chosen one.
Right.
So she's not concerned about being eaten. This is like worse than death to her. Like she's like, wow, I'm not a bird. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not right. I can't fly.
Meaning you can't turn into a bird?
No. I don't think so. No. I've tried.
Was that the tree climbing?
Well, I didn't jump off the top. Maybe I
Okay.
should.
No, you shouldn't.
No.
Perhaps you just need some rest.
I can't hear so well like this. It makes me nervous.
Well, welcome to being human, or at least appearing that way.
With human senses.
She's like not moving. I don't know how to express this. She's restless, but she's not moving at all. But you can tell that she's restless, right? Like she's just like every muscle just kind of like tensing up in her, right? She does not like being confined to her human senses only. It's definitely disorienting.
Just
That's pretty clear.
take some time. Perhaps when you're recovered, it will come back. Each and every one of us took quite a beating.
Yes. I wonder if it was after her. Why waste time or energy on anything else?
It didn't seem terribly discriminatory, just hungry.
Did she say where she intends to go?
She's headed south into the Ironlands. I don't personally think that's a good idea. I would sooner she come with us. Underground. She said something about trying to escape the stars.
Why would you want to escape the stars?
Apparently it can only strike her under the open sky.
What a strange
And
creature.
given where we're headed, seems like it may be of use to her as well.
It does mean that we'll get followed.
It does.
Did she say anything about dragons?
No. But I didn't ask.
Maybe you should.
Well, if she comes with us, we'll have her as a guide. She's already been all about the north, it sounds like.
She didn't seem to like me very much.
I think she's uneasy about things that aren't what they seem. She was the same when she started to realize something was different about me.
Am I not what I seem?
That depends. Sometimes you seem a bird, sometimes you seem a person.
Most people don't know that you're both.
Generally, most people are only one.
Yeah, she's like, she kind of nods like she's pretending to get it. She's like, yeah, I get it. Like most people aren't both, but she's like, I don't get it. She's like,
Why wouldn't you be?
but why wouldn't you be both? It doesn't make any sense. She's like, yeah, when I'm a bird, and when I'm a person, what the, like, what do you mean? Yeah. So, yeah, she just she nods and folds her arms in on herself. Yeah, just chilling.
What do you think, Philin?
Well, on one hand, I'm a little wary about having another presence on our tail after the last one. Unsure how I feel about leaving her to it.
Well, she has some kind of protection. She could do the same for us, right? As a group.
There is also that. Although, I can't sit in a circle of salt.
I think at this point, Berlin looks at looks at Ash. squints her eyes.
It's like, oh, what'd you do, buddy?
Yeah. Come here for a second.
Of course. And he'll get up and sit next to her.
I think that Verlin just like thumps him in the back.
That's better.
Yeah.
It's a little clearer. Thank you.
So,
We could find other ways.
we'd should ask her for more information about the thing.
I would agree. I didn't want to press her too hard for fear she might try to run off. And at any rate, I don't feel good about leaving someone to something like that alone.
I don't mind that so much as her potentially taking it to others. Less equipped
There's
to
also
handle
that.
it.
I assume that's probably why she's out here in the wilderness, not seeking out buildings or towns or anything.
Why would she camp so close to us? It seems selfish.
It's a good question. Perhaps we'll ask her in the morning. If you feel brave enough.
There's no bravery needed to ask a question.
Well, if we intend to not run her off and send her southward faster, try not to offend her.
What do you think she takes offense to?
Asking a question like that is a little confrontational.
Is there a polite way to ask?
Not really.
Well, I'll save it for last.
Do as you like.
We'll see how she reacts to my self first.
Yes. I think honesty on all counts is probably a good place to start.
Do you think she would give me some of her blood?
That depends on why you need it.
To read. To read her.
Right.
You should probably lead with that and don't just ask for her blood.
That's the sound of as
Totally.
Ash and Verlin exchange a look. Ash just kind of looks at Verlin like, help me with this.
Like Verlin just shrugs.
Not has never explained herself first, and usually not after. She's just like, "Hey, can I see your blood? I need it.
Yeah,
for
I
a
need your
thing."
blood.
Need
Just
for a
give me
thing I'm
your
doing.
blood.
Give me your blood. Give it to me. I just need it. Give it to me.
Don't worry about it. I just need it.
It's basically
Just
my
need
blood.
it. Everybody's blood belongs to me, but I need your permission to give it to me. Okay, just come on. It's silly. So morning, we can ask all of our questions.
Indeed.
Are you
two should
okay?
rest. Huh?
Are you okay?
I've been
You-
better, but
You got bit.
he just kind of like rotates his arm a little bit. Like it still works, but it's he's a little moving it a little slower than the other one.
Do you need help?
I could certainly benefit from a bit of patching up, I suppose. It's not going to fix itself.
I have some twine.
I don't
No,
know if I need to tie it back on.
It might help.
be fine. You should rest. And you, Verlin. How are you feeling?
Well, I feel like the baseline for that is clearly answered.
Alive is a good start. Even if barely.
Yeah. No, I heard Bastion when we made a physical contact.
Heard him speak?
I heard a voice. Normally we just kind of communicate via shared feelings. I can feel his general emotions when especially when they're strong.
And this was different from that then.
I heard a scream, a voice, and well, as far as I know and I can see, there's only one spirit in this blade, so
I see. Is Bastian all right?
well, he's not harmed, though. I think she looks down, and again, Bastian's just been laid across her lap.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that he's too happy with how things turned out.
Understandable.
If I could find a way back, I could go see for myself.
I don't need your spirit wandering around like last time.
It wouldn't be wandering around, it'd be here.
I don't think any of us are in any shape to deal with the fallout if it goes awry.
No, maybe tomorrow.
Maybe another day.
Hmm.
Well,
You two should eat.
Hmm.
I can try to prepare something. It's been a while.
People don't generally eat raw meat, do they?
No.
Mm.
That will make you sick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not.
She doesn't know how to cook, so she's just like, I have a rabbit, but I don't know how to
got
cook
a whole
it.
ass rabbit. I could just
Yeah, I got a
eat
whole.
now.
I'll just bite into this.
Thing is that as a bird, she'd have to eat less. So
Yeah.
it's better for her rations that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
Mm-hmm.
Because as a bird, she has to eat less.
Yeah,
And
her
I was
stomach gets
like-
full on less. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now we have a whole ass human
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
feed.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Strictly speaking, I don't think canonically Ash eats all that much. He eats
No.
like the absolute bare minimum required.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Knot is very good at like skinning animals, but she's terrible at cooking the meat. She doesn't know how to cook
Yeah.
at all.
She just like throws it into a pot over the fire, and it's like it'll be done some point. right?
Eventually it'll be done. We'll just eat it. It's fine.
Yeah, and you like end up with like charred blackened on one side and still like pink on the other.
Pink on the other side.
Ash is gonna go off of like his working memory of how he used to prepare food when he was alive and had a camp to deal with.
I will. By the way, though, I will be pushy and try and heal Ash, though, if I
Okay.
can,
Okay.
Yeah.
with my twine. Okay, it's string, but it does the trick.
Okay.
You can roll heal.
Yeah.
What is the body if not a complicated machine that you
Yes.
can sometimes, MacGyver?
What is
String-
twine if
string it
not
back
medieval duct tape?
A miss.
This you probably would have wanted to roll make camp first. On a miss.
sorry.
No, it's fine. Your aid is ineffective and you pay the price. So we have options here.
God.
You could spend some supply,
Okay.
which would be bad for the make camp roll.
Yeah.
You could just hurt Ash more, which
don't
would be
wanna
bad
do
for
that.
Ash.
Yeah.
Take me to 0. Do it.
Kill. 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 Kill.
I'm gonna consult an oracle, I think. Unless y'all have some ideas that you would like to put forward.
What's that was the heal that you did, right?
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
let me
Yep.
see.
Maybe. I mean, I wish it could harm me. Is the thing.
don't
I
think that would
mean,
make
the
sense.
most obvious negative outcome that happens is nothing happens, right? Like, it doesn't heal.
It doesn't help.
He just has, like, some string tied around his arm and it looks funny.
Right.
A new danger or foe is revealed. We have enough of those. I'm re-rolling. It is harmful. Yeah, I think. I mean, let's just go with the easiest answer and like.
She's not like threading a needle and like stitching him up, right? Like she's like
Right.
trying to like.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
don't want to
think
hurt.
It's just like it's a delicate enough situation, and you know what? If you want to hurt yourself, we can do that. We can do that.
I would rather hurt myself,
We
honestly.
can involve some sharp implements that you can hurt yourself on.
Were you
just
attempting
add a
to,
needle.
like,
Just add a needle into it.
Or, like,
literally.
you're-
just add
you're
a
you
needle
trying
trying
to
to
do
do
this-
stitches?
Yeah,
You're
stitches.
trying to do this while Ash is cooking and end up harming yourself. Like, so go ahead and take and take -1 health.
Okay, can do.
I
Sorry,
think that's fair.
tried. My wits is pretty good too, unfortunately.
Alas.
Come
You stitch yourself to
Try to be
Ash.
helpful.
Yeah, you're just attached
Oh,
to
well,
him
we're
now.
stuck together
connected.
now.
No.
It was intentional. No.
What?
Um,
What? Weird. Who said that?
would somebody like to make camp? Okay.
Yes, please.
Yes, I can do it.
And mark
narratively
failure. Summer.
Yeah, narratively speaking, Ash seems like he's sort of in the best position to do that.
Yeah. So you'll roll supply. I think you can do that off of the group tracks sheet.
Okay. Where are the group tracks? There it is.
And we'll see how angry the dice are tonight. Oh, we hit. Okay. Everybody gets to choose one off of the make a camp list.
Yay.
Not for you. My GM's recommendation is the recuperate.
Is relax. Oh, recuperate?
Yeah, because it'll give you +1 health and it'll give you your bird form back at 1 health.
Ooh, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay, bird form returned.
I'm taking recuperate as well.
Bird form is under assets.
Oh yeah, I don't need to click anything for that, right?
Yeah, you set it to +1.
Oh, yeah.
Because right now it's at 0.
Well, now it's at
Ooh.
+1.
It's at you got launched. All right.
You ever been eaten?
And Ash, what are you taking?
I took recuperate as well. I need help.
Yeah. And Berlin?
Figuring that out right now. Both my health and spirit at +2, so
You could take yet another +1
Does-
momentum and go up to 9.
Yes, because that's exactly what I want.
Grit your teeth and keep going.
I think I'll do health because I know if something goes bad, I can always I can always dig into my momentum.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll do recuperate.
So you're still feeling like emotionally weary.
I mean, yeah, like Bastian and I are having a time right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that
And
feeling
not like he talks to me like in speech, but I feel like I'm getting a little bit of the cold shoulder from him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're getting like bad vibes now.
He's
You
not
didn't empty
happy
the
with
dishwasher
me
before you
I
had
and
just
how
think
I
there's a-
handled everything.
It's not even
So-
bad vibes. It's a distinct lack of vibes,
Yeah.
which is worse.
Yeah, no, he's
Oh.
just upset with me,
Yeah.
and that's not great.
What? Why is he upset with you? You didn't do anything.
If only you could
He
ask.
stabbed you. Bastion, you passive aggressive bastard.
No, so passive aggressive. I'm just
Uh,
gonna make the vibes real bad in here. I'm gonna ruin the vibes.
all right. You rest up, and wake in the morning, essentially at dawn, I think. And
You probably find not sleeping in bird form, which is probably a relief for a lot of people.
yeah. Did not. So not couldn't go to sleep in the papoose. What was not sleeping arrangement? I have to know.
I think she fell asleep as a human beside the fire.
Okay.
But so she's probably just like buried in the snow, like kind of like nested in the snow, beside the fire as a bird when morning comes.
I mean, Ash would have been awake to see it, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like,
like,
nudge her a
shoot.
little bit away.
It's like
from
you
the,
just
from the
it's like
fire.
it's the one time you blinked in like 6 hours and suddenly she's a bird.
Yeah.
Like, what? Oh, great. Cool.
Oh, she's feeling better.
Yeah. Fauna yawns, stretches,
Gonna wake up to all this bullshit.
pokes the fire so that it wakes up a little bit more, sits herself up, sort of like getting ready for the day. She, like, musses her hair, sits with her hands in her lap.
Was
sees
she
that
asleep
Knott's
this whole fucking time?
Yeah,
yep,
she
the entire
was.
time. Yeah.
Verlin made the choice not to wake her
Bench.
up.
Okay.
Sees that Knott is a bird, and like Ash, you see her like reach out for a second, and then stop and just put her hand back in her lap. She looks bleary-eyed around, waves at you. Good morning.
Good morning. Sleep well?
Ooh, yeah. I don't think I've slept that much in weeks.
I just a quick thing about
Ash
not
is
that
like
I've decided.
silently super fucking jealous. But anyway.
I think actually instead of nested around, you know how like it's so weird when animals lay on their back. It's like the weirdest thing ever when animals are like. I think Knott's laying on her back in the snow with the feet up.
Yeah,
Right.
because like she would have fell
This is so
asleep
funny.
as a human and then just
Yeah,
shifted
exactly.
form.
Yeah,
That's
and so
so
she's
funny.
like laying
She
on
just
her back, feet
Looks
in the
like
air.
a dead bird.
Literally looks like a dead bird. Yeah, but
That's so funny.
that's what I think's happening.
I think Verlin is sleeping in like more than she usually does. And I think like her bloodied outer robe, you know, the one that she got stabbed in, is probably folded up to the side.
Okay.
And
Like by the fire.
incredibly rude. Yeah.
Did you return to your tent to go to bed, or did you stay out by the fire?
I think went to the tent just to actually recover a little bit.
Yeah, so I think Fauna will see Verlin's robe, like, blink bleary-eyed at it as her brain is like slowly slowly
Computing.
processing what she's seeing.
Ash
And
will
then-
grab it like it was nothing and just start packing it away like he's packing all the rest of their supplies
Yeah,
at
and
a
then
leisurely
she like
pace.
she sobers up real fast and it's like, "Is Verlin okay? Where is she?
He's resting in a tent.
What happened?"
Quite a lot. Let her sleep. She needs it. We were attacked last night.
What? Oh my gods. Oh gods. Oh gods. I'm so sorry.
Oh, what? It wasn't you.
I should have helped.
Better that you didn't. We all barely made it out.
Well, that's just more reason that I should have. Fuck.
It's all right. What you can do now, since you're healthy, is help make sure Phelan recovers well.
I guess.
Besides, we need your eyes.
Is not okay. She looks dead.
I mean, like upon hearing her own name, she like does that. She does that like snap thing, like where like animals get startled, and she's like
Yeah.
suddenly like on her feet.
Like flutter your wings and
Yeah, like yeah, exactly. But I think upon seeing that she's like in her bird form, like when she kind of is like she like orients herself right from waking up alarmingly fast hearing her own name. She gets super excited, and you know how like cats will like weave in between your legs and they're like rubbing up against your legs. She like immediately like flutters to Ash's shoulder and is like doing that, but like around his
just, like,
head and yeah,
going
like
in his
in
hair.
his hair. Yeah, exactly.
He
So-
just kind
so
of reaches
happy.
up and like scritches the feathers on her chest.
Yeah. She's so happy.
She's fine.
uh,
She also needed
apparently.
some rest.
Okay. Okay. I'll be right back. And Fauna just like stands up out of her bedroll.
Don't go too far.
and goes off into the trees.
He just shakes his head like, damn kids.
I think at this point, Verlin gets up and out, and she's now carrying. She's got a fresh set of clothes, and she's now carrying the bloodied underrobe. You know, that's pure white, so it's just like stark
So
dried
fucked.
blood
Yeah.
all over the abdomen.
That's a look.
Yeah,
Oof.
so I think she's just carrying that. Morning.
Morning. Fauna ran off. I explained what happened. She feels a little regretful for not joining us in the fun.
I don't know if another person was gonna change how that was gonna turn out.
Ash just shakes his head like, nope.
Not a bird.
Yeah,
I'm
I
glad
think
we
I
Ash
think
will
established
take
where
some of the
everyone is.
food that he was like cooking from the fire or whatever and like hand some up to her.
yeah, and I think Verlin just smiles at that. Oh, that's one of us back to a semblance of normal.
Indeed.
I think she holds up the like the white underwear. I think this is fire fuel at this point.
Yes, I've got your other one right here. Wasn't sure if you wanted to save it.
She looks down at the one set of bare clothing that she thought to pack. At least that one's thick enough to at least try to mend.
All right. I put it in the bags just in case.
Thanks. And she's gonna toss the white cloth onto the fire.
I think pretty abruptly Not turns back into a person. So she's like, it's like Ash, she's like leaning against your back, like her head's like propped up on your shoulder.
Yeah, Ash is not wearing his armor for the morning because he was probably taking some part of the evening to like clean the off of
Yeah,
it.
they use.
Yeah, and repair, like, most of the rivets are at least damaged, like, partially out, and so
Yeah.
your armor needs some serious repairs.
He had all the time in the world overnight, so he was working on fixing what he could.
Yeah.
Berlin, I could maybe make you something. A new outfit. You've
You really
never
don't
seen her
have
sew.
to.
You've never seen her sew. You've never seen her do it.
Yeah,
You
I
don't-
know.
You're not sure she knows how to.
She knows how to sew a button onto a piece of cloth, because that's
Yeah,
the
she
type
does.
of map that she had.
Yeah, I know. But you've never seen her actually sew.
But
is what I'm
having to
saying.
do clothing is a whole nother level of understanding how fabric works.
We could go to a town, maybe, or if we find a deer or something, and I could make you a new one.
I think I'll be okay for now, but
Get all your clothes.
oh, that's why I packed an extra set.
But now you don't have an extra set.
Well, maybe when something happens to this one, we'll
You'll be naked.
I'll just have to deal with a hole in it.
I've
Is
got
it
an
too
extra
early to-
shirt if you want it.
I
I
have
think I
many
should be
buttons.
fine.
I do. Is it too early to go say good morning to our neighbor? I have
How
questions.
early is it?
Yeah.
It's really early, right?
Yeah, so you woke up essentially at dawn.
Okay. We'll
I'll-
give it
I'll-
some time. We'll give it a couple hours.
Alvara got up around the same time.
Okay.
But has, like, you've heard sound from her tent, but you haven't seen her.
Okay.
I could go say good morning.
Uh,
Take some food. People like food. Cooked food.
Right. Why don't I go see if she wants to come join us for breakfast?
Well, it won't be scary. And I will save the blood for later.
Ash does not trust her.
She's very eager.
You can come with me.
Yeah, she'll get up, get excited. Rabbit on a
Gonna, like,
skewer.
He's like waiting to
Held
be
straight.
like, are you gonna go person or are you gonna be bird?
No, she's gonna go
waiting.
person.
Okay.
yeah. She's going person.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll go and wave in the general direction of Alvara's tent.
Yeah, I mean, you reach the edge of the circle, and Ash, you encounter the same problem as before.
Yeah. He'll just call out.
Yeah,
he'll
Knock
just
can
call out to
step through,
her.
right?
Yeah,
Can't
actually, not. You can, but you feel the change.
Okay, cool.
And it's not like, for Ash, it was like this disconnect, right? For you, it's just like all of the hair on your body stands on end.
Yucky feeling.
And it's like it's like you just have a low current running through you, essentially. And Ash, you can actually see like her hair on her head like float a little bit as the points try to get away from each other.
Ghibli hair.
Yeah, essentially. Yep.
Good morning.
You hear like the sound of wood and tension, and then there's a pause. Hello?
It's not. I don't think we've met properly.
The flap moves just enough so that she can see out and see you. Oh,
Yeah. Ash will nod as well from where he stands.
it's you.
Mm-hmm.
You hear her set something down and she steps out.
Good morning. I brought you this. And she holds out the rabbit on a stick.
Oh.
We thought you could join us for breakfast.
It's
if you
cooked all the way through.
Ash is just like, yes. Don't worry about it. She's weird.
Thank you.
Mm. Take a bite.
I'm trying to think if this requires a roll. Yeah, I think normal people would be just like kind of nervous about it, but do it. I think Alvara like actually is just super cautious.
Yeah.
She
so I would
seems
like
to have good
compel.
reason to be kind of
Okay.
paranoid.
What do you want me to roll?
I want you to compel.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm rolling hard. I'm not trying to lie or swindle or threaten or incite her. I'm just being like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
do
yeah.
it. Like I'm just I'm like trying to be nice, you know? Okay, so we'll see. Well, it's not gonna go well, but whatever. A weak hit.
A weak hit. Okay, so what do you get on a weak hit?
They ask for something in return. They'll do it, but
But they want something. Yeah.
she'll take
you-
a bite first if it makes her feel better.
You also do take +1 momentum.
Cool.
I think she'll swerve the rabbit, but agree to breakfast, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
she's not going to eat this strange food that's being handed to her, but she will come
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
down and eat other food.
Okay.
Mhm, Sure.
Yeah. No, I'll just be like, oh, you don't like rabbit? Mm?
I think actually she has her own food. Maybe like she has some
Okay, yeah.
some dried trail rations that she'll bring over.
It's all
Yeah.
right. Let her eat whatever she wants.
Yeah, Not just takes a massive bite. Like,
Yeah, just a super messy plate.
yeah, truly. Like, does not care at all.
Yep.
It's a very, very mediocre rabbit. Yummy.
Yeah.
She
She'll-
loves it. She's like cooked. It takes away so much flavor from the meat, but whatever. I'll do what I have to.
Oh no. But yeah, she steps out from the circle, and will come sit by the fire. And I think at about this point, Fauna comes barging out of the underbrush. She has a fistful of various like leafy plants and some flowers and stuff. She has some twigs sticking out of her hair. And she just like stands near the edge of camp and looks at Verlin and says, I have herbs. And I think we're at the top of an hour. This is a great place for us to just,
damn. Bless her.
just
Bless
stop.
her. I have herbs.
We're
Comes
gonna
in looking like a wild woman.
Herbs.
we're gonna
Herbs.
take
I
a
have
quick
herbs.
break. Step away for about 10 minutes, and
Oh,
when we
God.
return, we'll get this juicy combo and maybe some healing for Verlin. See you soon. Hello, and welcome back to the final hour of episode 7 of From Dust Before It's Settled. You have gathered, I think Alvara is looking sort of incredulously over a crumbly biscuit of some sort as Fauna like tries to convince. How much convincing does Verlin need for Fauna to like get to her wound and start patching things up?
Oh boy. I don't think it requires a ton. I think there's definitely just that first of, oh, hello, good morning to you too. Yes, you do have herbs. Kind
Okay.
of like first reaction.
Yeah, so I think Not and Ash are in positions to have a conversation with Alvara. Verlin less so, as the moment Fauna has any kind of go ahead, there's like a 5-step process. She like chews on a branch to fray it and then shoves it in Verlin's mouth. Is like, chew on this. Starts making a paste out of some like assembled mosses and whatnot. and like pulls aside the robe and starts spreading it directly on the wound. It's like, it's uncomfortable, it's slimy, there are some leaves that get plastered over that. But
She's
yeah.
doing her darndest, though.
Yeah, and the like pot that was on the fire has been pulled off and set to the side while some water boils to make an herbal tea. But yeah, you're just like, your mouth is full of weird root, and your side is covered in weird brown green paste and leaves, and you're sort of just at Fauna's mercy for
Hell of a
little
look.
bit.
Yeah, it sure is a time. And because of the way her clothes are, like, you have to, like, pull aside the robe. So it's just, like, this entirely just, like, awkwardly hiked up, like,
Yep.
Bunch of
rolls
fabric. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably sitting here at the fire, too, passively in this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Alvara is like watching that happen as her morning entertainment. What do the two of you do?
Not as being conspicuously quiet. She's trying not to ask the wrong questions.
She's just like waiting.
She's like
for...
sitting there next to Ash, like, like, trying to keep, like, she'll open her mouth to say something and she just like immediately cuts herself off. It's like, she'll eat instead.
Yeah, like, can I have your
yeah. She wants to ask those questions, like those inappropriate questions for conversation, like especially at the beginning of conversation. But she's really trying. She's really trying hard to not ruin that, because she doesn't want to. She knows that Ash had that conversation. Yeah, she's trying her best. So, yeah.
So did we kind of collectively determine we're going to try to get her to come with us?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
We want to ask her a question. I think because she camped close to us. It was kind of weird. She's going into a place with more people. That's kind of weird. Like,
sure.
Yeah.
You know, I think that a lot of her motivations are kind of gray to us.
Just unknown.
And even unknown. Yeah. So
sure.
I think that generally what we would have come to conclusion on is like, we just want to know more about like why she's doing what she's doing. And I think Not would have said like the causation of this, right? Like she kind of, like, out of character, she obviously kind of explained to Ash, like, you make dumb decisions when you're young, but I think Not is to blunt to the point where she's like, okay, but being young and dumb doesn't mean that you can't understand like consequences of actions and that kind of thing. So I think knowing more about why she took whatever deal, what she was offered in return, is it just knowledge, or is it more than that, or what about it is personal to her, I guess?
Sure. So I think in interest of opening it up in not an awkward way, Ash would just sort of start out with like, we're willing to let you come with us. We'll guard you as well as we can, but we need to know more.
She tears her eyes away from she tears her eyes away from the stuff that is happening with Verlin and Fauna. That is one second. That is fair. I think. I took some time to think about it last night. And it is difficult after all this time. Do you think that maybe another chance would be worth the effort? Another look for a way in? But But you did not die last night.
Not for lack of trying on their part.
Ash has already died, and I can't die, so we have pretty good odds.
Well, that is, assuring, I suppose, in a way. But you were right. If you are to offer that help, you are owed some greater understanding.
Generally speaking, I would never take a protection job without knowing context of what and why I was doing the protecting.
Mm-hmm.
50 years ago, I was approached. Oh, reminder, she's an elf.
Not barely
50
holds back
years
the
ago is
question,
when she
how
was
old
young
are
and
you?
stupid.
Yeah.
Not barely like, how old are you? That's definitely like a shut up.
Say Ash will just hand her another skewer of rabbit.
Yeah.
She starts to talk.
That's the sign. If I hand you food, eat it and don't speak, please.
Yeah.
Just eat and shut up.
Useful shorthand. Not you find you're much hungrier than usual today, too.
Yeah. I'm gonna fill up for sure. We got a long way to fly.
I was approached. I was approached by some people who wanted me to draw something for them. They had a book with many written descriptions of shapes. That are hard to understand and visualize. And they wanted someone to draw them. And it seemed like an interesting challenge, and so I agreed. They paid well. And so I started to draw, and they kept coming back with more requests. They wanted me to draw things from further in the book. And then fewer of them came to me, until there was just one left. And he handed me the book and said that the rest was for me. I found out later that they had been sacrificing each other. The night after I was given the book, he spoke to me. So he said he had watched what I had done, that he had been touched by the devotion of these people. That I had a potential, that I could see what others could not. That I could see a world that was meant for me and not others. And it made sense. These forms, I do not even know now how I drew them. I just did. no one else knew how to draw them. He said that there was more knowledge like that, more things to see that I could never see here. And that if I gave myself to him, that it would all be mine. I did not know what they had been doing. Or maybe I did, but I refused to think about it. But these drawings had been... There was something only I could do. It felt irresponsible to turn that away. So, at his guiding, I found another book. And I had wedding bands made. And beneath the stars, we were married. His voice seemed mortal, normal, like any of us. But when I saw him, I knew what had happened. And I ran. Those first few months, people got hurt. I didn't know where to go, so I just went, and I didn't know how to protect myself. But I learned, and people didn't get hurt as often anymore. And I kept running. But I don't want to anymore.
Understandable. Sounds like you were tricked.
May I offer you a physical comfort?
You'll have to forgive her. She's a little awkward at asking questions.
No, it's fine.
A hug.
Thank you. I think she'll accept it.
Yeah. Not will give her a hug. A very good hug. Not's an excellent hugger.
Okay. That's her one human skill.
Yeah, it's her one human skill. Well, she's great at giving bird hugs too, but it's hard to get the arms around when you're in butter. Yeah, so but yeah, she'll give her a hug. A really tight, like nice hug.
Thank you for being honest.
Of course. Sometimes I am fast enough that I do not see him for weeks. But he always finds me.
I don't want to make assumptions, but you must miss being with people.
I do. At times, like yesterday, when I encounter people, I take the opportunity to say hello.
You know that he would be catching up to you.
I did not. She gestures over toward her tent. The point of the ritual is not just to keep him away, it's to keep him from seeing me.
Ash nods. In his mind, that kind of answers the question of why she bothered to camp so close.
Yeah, agreed. Not to. I think the whole story kind of answers Not's question about like why she would even. I mean, she's very lonely, probably, and Not understands that for sure. May I offer some personal details?
As you see fit.
I don't want to overwhelm or impose. A word she definitely learned from either Ash or Verlin.
Ash talks fancy when he actually uses all of his words. She probably heard him say it several times. Go ahead.
So, I am Not. And I am, as you see me now, but I am also a bird.
Oh. I see.
But aside from that, I am on a journey. I am on a quest, a mission. And I am looking for someone who is a chosen person who will save everything and everyone forever.
That sounds convenient.
I can't die until I find them, so that's all I mean. I don't mean I'm immortal. I'm not. But I do get a sense from you that you're part of my journey, and so I think it would be rather convenient if you came with us. For both of us. We'll help you if you help us, too.
I am thankful for the offer, but I do not know that I can be much help to anyone.
You will be. You will be. I don't know exactly how yet, but I know that you will be very important to me, and I can't let you go. Oh, I don't mean to sound, she's kind of like looking at it.
She's like, dial it down.
She's
Slow
like,
down.
I don't want to sound like I'm a kidnapper. I don't want to sound like
He just kind of like makes it like,
no.
Okay.
I just mean to say that we are tied together, and even if you were to leave now, we would run into each other again someday, but I think that it happened now because it was meant to be now. Because you didn't know, and neither did we when you camped next to us.
Not's words aside, we are willing to help. And I think you could be useful because you've walked this area before.
Fauna looks up from where she's trying to spoon.
You're
this,
also very helpful,
thick,
Fauna. Thank you.
Herby tea into Verlin's mouth.
Verlin tried very hard to show the visual indicators that she's engaged in this conversation. It's very difficult.
She's like,
I know where we're I know where we're going.
Yes,
Pretty sure.
we know you know where you're going.
More
yes, but
eyes
you
are
don't
always
have.
helpful.
And the
Okay.
my chosen quest, I have to pursue it, Fauna. You know this.
Get that root back in there.
Yeah, Berlin had absolutely like took it out to try to talk, and then it was just shoved back
Multiple
in.
times. If I there is something else I should say while I'm saying everything that I'm saying right now.
Ash just sighs and nods ever so slightly.
Oh, okay.
I'm an oracle. And I can see things about people. But to see things about people, especially strangers, I need a token.
Ash is so proud of Not right now.
She's doing her best.
She's doing so good.
I I am not sure. I do not have much.
A drop of blood, willfully given to me.
Oh.
I have heard your story and I understand if you cannot and will not give it to me, but I can see things about you and those around you, those closest to you. It is not guaranteed, but it is possible and may be helpful to us in protecting you. If it's a no, that's okay.
You may also learn something.
It's not just for me, it's for all of us. She's trying so hard. to not
Ash
be
just puts a
aggressive
hand on
about
Yeah.
that shoulder like,
yeah,
good
she's trying
job.
really hard to not be aggressive about it. Usually she's like,
I-
hey, can I have your blood right now? Yeah.
I think because like this is the most Not has like tried to connect with a person.
It is.
That
She
we've
really doesn't give a
seen.
shit at all. She usually is just like, doesn't even try at all.
Would it be out of the question for you to roll Forge a Bond?
No, I don't think so. Especially because she believes that they're connected to each other in her ultimate quest, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's
And
I
that's
mean,
sort of what you're offering to her too.
we're
is like,
standing together to face a hardship. I'm gonna help you with
Mhm.
your shit. You're gonna help
Mhm.
me with my shit, kind of
yeah.
shit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy to roll that.
Okay.
Okay, I'll do it. Weak hit.
Whew, a 1 and a 10.
Wow.
Yeah, seriously.
On a weak hit, they ask something more of you first. Envision what it is. Do it or swear an iron vow and mark the bond. Oh.
Do it or swear an iron vow. What
Is
is
this
she?
potentially like she's like, I will, you got to do this for me, and it makes a new vow essentially.
Yeah.
That's what I'm playing with. Basically what it's saying is either she asks something of you immediately and you
you
can
do it
just
right now.
Or she asks something more complicated and you would swear an iron vow to do that thing.
Yeah.
I
If she could ask me about something that I could answer right away with my Oracle move, that would probably be what Not would hope to do. Because I think at the end of the day, Not doesn't want to promise something to promise something. She doesn't want to be like, let's go on a whole separate side journey
right.
to go on a separate side journey, right? Which is what I that's what I worry about with the Iron Vow. Is that Not's
Yeah.
gonna be like, okay, we'll go do this whole other thing before we do this whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, above table, we already know that her direction is the same as yours. So
Yeah.
that would not be the case.
Yeah. If it's something on the way, like, sure. You want me to introduce you to a forest god? I know some.
I think she's going to ask this in an abstract sense.
Okay.
But it's going to turn into a more definite vow.
Okay.
So sort of what has happened to her here is that she was offered purpose, and that purpose ended up being a lie.
Yeah.
But I think she still wants purpose of some kind. Like,
and Not's like kind of offering that, right?
To an extent, yeah. I think she wants to not just heal that harm and be safe, but to like replace the horror of the situation with something that's meaningful to her. And so she'll say yes, she'll give you the blood. But I think she says, if there is a chance, however slim, that I can be of use, then I will take it.
Thank you.
Do you need my hand?
Or wherever you prefer.
I think she'll offer a hand.
Yeah, I think to Not, it seems stupid that people would offer their hands to cut. She's like, the hand is the most useful part of the body. Why wouldn't you just offer an elbow or something?
Well, you said like a drop of blood or something.
Yeah.
I think she's not expecting like
drop,
the movie.
Yeah. Most people are like, go ahead.
Yeah, I know, but it's
Yeah.
but Not's like, your fingers are the most sensitive part of your whole. She's very acutely aware of your fingers being so sensitive. So she's like, why wouldn't you just offer it off your like knee or something? Like you can get blood from anywhere.
Yeah, like she just holds her hand
To
out
her,
to you.
so-
Whatever you do with that appendage.
She
is up to
probably
Nott.
marks like a strange part of the hand to get blood, like an off the finger, like back of the hand. Which is super peculiar and weird because like doctors like will prick your finger, but Not's like, no, I'm gonna take the side back here, where it's not sensitive. You're not gonna use it. You can just like bandage it, no problem. It's not in the way, and super considerate. Okay.
All right.
Well, I'll do this as best I can. Okay. So when I take a drop of blood, I roll with heart. A miss.
A miss. What happens on a miss?
Nothing. It doesn't say.
Let's see. Take a drop of blood. Cast Rune Carved Stones. Roll plus heart. On a strong hit, you can gather information. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dang, you can't even.
Nope, I can't get
even
anything.
burn. Actually, wait, that's not true. Let me double check. Do you get any momentum from the Forge Bond? Nope. I don't think so. No. Oh well. Alas, yeah, it's hazy. I think you're.
Such a bummer.
you're finding that, like, whatever is going on with her metaphysically is just too much for you right now.
Yeah.
You either
She's got
she
a lot
needs
going on. Yeah, she's
either
got
she needs
a
to
lot
sort
going on
something out
since
within
she's
herself, or you need to like have a Goku training montage of some sort.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think what Not
something needs to change
will
here.
say is that I think Not would offer the fact that she would like to keep trying throughout the course of their journey, to see something. But I think she thinks right now, especially where they all are, like physically, mentally, and like in this space where this fight just happened, Not feels, and also like only having just returned to her bird self, I think Not feels very like thrown off. And so I think like when the runes like actually fall, they don't even fall in a pattern that's like no answer, like on the 8 ball where it's like ask again later. It's like literally unreadable, right? It's not even like a try again later. It's just nonsense on the ground.
Yep.
And Not's like spirits are the vibes off.
The park
Is it
vibes
noticeable?
Spirits are just
Is
like,
it noticeable?
Is it
Yeah, it's fucking
noticeable?
noticeable. Yeah, the vibes are off.
Awesome.
Yeah, she looks super put off by that though. Like Not seems like really out of sorts after she gets that reading. I think it like not like mad at Alvar or anyone. She's mad at herself. She's more like just like, what the fuck? Stones?
Also
having an off day.
Mark failure.
Woo! 5 failure, baby.
Yeah.
One more and I'm gonna advance that shit to the future.
But yeah, and you can make or you should actually roll the swear an iron vow move. That's right.
Oh, okay.
That's a thing.
I will do that.
We'll see how that turns out.
My heart is 2. A weak hit.
A weak hit. On a weak hit, you are determined to begin your quest with more questions than answers. That tracks. Take +1 momentum. There you go. And envision what you do to take a path forward. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna double check. I'm gonna Magic the Gathering this shit and check the order of operations on our moves here.
Okay.
So you rolled Forge a Bond, which led to swearing an iron vow. If you wanted to super rules lawyer,
Okay.
I would let you burn to turn the divination into a weak
A
hit.
weak hit?
Yep, but you'd have to burn.
All my momentum.
Yeah, it'd put you to
Does that burn it down to...
your reset, which is +2.
I'm gonna do it because I'd like that.
Okay. Yep.
So for my divination on a weak hit, the answers are only revealed when extra time and focus, so suffer 2 momentum, so I'll go down to 0.
Oof.
That's okay. So I get to read the runes and I gather information about the subject and the people close to them, including insight you and the subject have no knowledge of. So it's stuff that
Yes.
neither of us know. So now I have to roll again.
you add +1 to this roll.
Okay. So this is gather information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh my god.
We'll see how nicely this one plays with you.
Wits.
Fucking Christ!
Not
is that
at
with
all.
Is that with the +1 too?
Yeah, I added
Damn.
+1.
Yeah. So on a miss, your investigation unearths a dire threat or
Shit.
reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Interesting. And what was the weak hit on your divination?
The weak hit, well, the weak hit is Azabeth, but I have to
It
spend
takes
the 2
time.
momentum, so it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's you gather information about the subject and the people close to them, including insight you and the subject have no knowledge of. So it's the same thing, but I had to spend that extra 2 momentum. I literally spent 6 momentum for that fucking
So
mess.
you gaze into you look at the runes and you look beyond them at the deeper truth, and something grabs you. You see a writhing purple eye, the same one that you saw before, and it sees you, And as you feel yourself in a vast expanse, not as you were before inside of the mouth of this creature, but outside of it, it falls away from you and toward you, reflecting like fractaline in on itself in this endless expanse, as if the entire universe is this creature, all just looking at you. I think that's all you get.
Yeah, I think she's super shaken by that. How not so shaken is like super, you know, volatile. Like I think that she doesn't really express human emotion well. I think she has very like basic emotion. So fear I think would be the closest thing to kind of what she's feeling. But yeah, she kind of, when she sees the runes and she gets a basic understanding, not even an understanding, but like a basic read on the entire situation, she kind of like scoops them up really quickly and like throws them back in her bag, like without even like looking at them or touching them or cleaning them or anything. Like there's still blood on them. And it's super weird for her to not like close a ritual, I think, to Ash and Verlin. Like for her to not like carefully wipe the blood off of every stone that it touched. She just tosses them in her bag and is like, whoop, done. Not gonna dig into that.
Yeah, Ash will notice that and just kind of give her a look of like, everything okay? Like, looks a little worried.
Yeah. I think she's just like, I need more space from everything that happened, and now I need more time between us.
Of course, whatever you need.
Right.
It's not your fault.
Thank you.
Even as good as we like to think we are, all of us, we make mistakes. And some of those can make us feel like bad people. But it doesn't mean that you're bad.
Thank you.
Of course. As often as you are willing, I'll do readings for you. And we'll see, the farther we get away between the event and now, how things go. I don't want to hurt you. I want to help you. I want you to help me.
Okay.
I'm good at seeing things.
I think Fauna is finally running out of things to do for Verlin. And it is like reaching
the stick is finally taken out, and like there's the tea.
Yeah, she's like, so I'm going to brew more of this for you every night, and then we're going to change out your bandages at the same time in the morning and at night, and then if at any point you start to feel even the slightest bit of fever,
Fauna.
chew on this.
Fauna. Thank you. I'm okay.
Okay. Also, you can take +1 health.
Yay. Yeah, I think at this point, like, Verlin has, like, the cup of tea in one hand, and she's, like, casually just, like, bundling the robe back around her. It's very awkward. Yeah, this conversation is, kind of closing. Well, I think it's, clear that is already an unusual group. What's one more complication into that?
Indeed.
I hope not to be too much of a complication.
Look to the others. We've already been dealing with the twisted force gods
Complications.
and what's the strange void blob on top of that.
A lot of strange things in the world. Just a few more. Ash is just kind of like, yeah, this is a day's work.
Ash was like, I died and came back. Like, whatever.
I think Fauna's packing up and like not quite realizing the bite to these words. She says, "They seem to find you an awful lot." Like she's just sort of observing without understanding that like that's kind of a backhanded comment.
Oh, yeah. I think Swillen just shakes her head. And if we're just to round out everything, I'm a spirit walker, so.
Oh. Well, I hope not to have need of your services anytime soon.
I'm a bird.
Right. You explained that.
Oh. Well, I am.
Why don't you prove it to her?
She'll just pop into
Ash
a
just
bird.
puts his arm up.
Yeah, she's like immediately up on the arm like bird.
And I think with that, this is a good place for us to leave off for the week. As you new merch, I'm a bird. Oh god. Yeah, the show did start with a spirit walker, an oracle, and a revenant walk into a bar. That was the very first.
That's literally the premise of
literally
the
the intro.
show.
Yup. Okay, so don't go anywhere. We're gonna do some outros, and then we will be back in hopefully 2 weeks. So, but before we head out, let's go around, say who we are. I really need to update these ending screens, so remind me to do that in the intervening 2 weeks, please.
No.
But first, Summer.
Hello, it's me. Hi, I'm Summer. You can find me on Twitter at @justasummerjob. That's where I tweet and retweet about everything I've got going on. You can find me here every other Saturday. You can find me here every Monday, where we're really playing games. Every Monday, sorry. We're playing Darkfall Ghost Vigil or Ghost Vigil Darkfall,
No,
whatever
you got
you
it right.
prefer. And you can find me. You can find me on Missing Annie Lee. That comes out every Friday. We are on our finale, so that's only for like a week or so. Like, I mean, like by the next time we're here, Annie Lee will be over. So do with that what you will. And you can find me pretty much every night on my channel playing either Grand Theft Auto 5 roleplay or Wild West RP, which is Red Dead Redemption 2 roleplay. So please go follow at It's Just a Summer Job on Twitch too, because I need your support. I'm vulnerable without it. Okay, anyways, goodbye. I had so much fun.
And Kiana.
Yay! You can find me over on Twitter at Kiana S. Best way to figure out what I'm doing, because I do a bunch of things on the internet. Most of the time, you can find me over on the channel I co-produce, Salty Sweet Games. You can follow us there. And obviously, I'll shout out Archon again, which is a system agnostic cyberpunk setting that me and my friend Jason created. We have blasted through all of our original stretch goals, which means we're adding expansions, both written by us and by cool new authors that we're bringing into this. And we're also doing print run with Metal Weave Games. So yeah, go check that out. Our next stretch goal is please pay us more money to make this thing happen. So we can make it more sustainable project for us. But yeah, if you can't afford a copy, we do have a bunch of community copies. that the pool grows with every bot copy. So like we've been keeping the community copies up like 60 above most of the time, which has been incredible. So yeah, so if you just want to check it out first before buying it, that's a great way to do it. But yeah,
And
that's it for me.
and also, if you can afford a copy of it for yourself, you can give them more money than the asking price because Itch.io is great like that. So you can
Yes,
actually
easy.
buy it for even more money. Just putting that out there. And last but certainly not least, our dead friend who isn't dead, Jess.
Yay!
Where can people find you? What are you up to?
Dead on the outside and inside a little bit for Ash.
Oh no.
It's fine. You can find me on Twitter at Little Cup of Joe, but most of the time, the more interesting content is always going to be on Twitch at Little Cup of Joe as well. 9 p.m. Pacific on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Fridays are whatever I feel like playing. Saturdays and Sundays, we are doing the continued sagas of whatever Otome game is on deck. Currently, it's Collar Malice on Saturdays and Pio Fiore on Sundays. So if you like either crime solving and or crime doing, Pio Fiore's Mafia.
Great.
We're playing on both sides of the law right now. Come and join. The art is pretty, the feelings hurt a lot, and it's good stuff. And I voice act. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And Jess is a voice actor. That's not just that she voice acts.
People literally pay me to use this thing right here.
Yeah, it's super worth it to stop by and listen to her voice these characters, and then also the commentary is always quite sharp.
It delights me when people come in and don't realize that I'm speaking the words.
Yeah, that you, the player, are saying the things. Yep. And they're like, wow, who's the voice actress for this main character? It's me. I am doing it now. Hello, I'm Dylan. You can find me at Anarsis on Twitch, Twitter, Patreon, YouTube, itch.io. I don't know, maybe other places that I've forgotten. And as a mod in Sember's chat constantly, she has me chained to this chair. And yeah, I make games, I write things for games, I run games, I play games. The things that I specifically want to point out are tomorrow I am getting up at fucking balls early in the morning to bring you the gaming commentary you didn't know you wanted. I'm going to be up streaming at about 9:30 a.m. Pacific tomorrow for some pre-show shenanigans before the Microsoft or the Xbox, and Bethesda conference at E3, and then I will be staying live through the Xbox Bethesda conference, through the Square Enix conference, and through the Back 4 Blood showcase thing. For that, Ethan will be joining me for Xbox and Bethesda. Julie and Kiana will be joining me for Square Enix, and Kiana will be sticking around for Back 4 Blood after that. So if you want to hang out with some people while seeing cool new video game trailers and hearing our opinions on them, and maybe some background info as I have that available, please come by tomorrow for that. I really love doing this every year that I can, and the thing that makes it fun and worth it is getting to share things with all of you. So come by for that. And then Monday, as Summer pointed out, 6 p.m. Pacific, we have Really Playing Games where we're playing Darkfall Ghost Vigil. Hopefully we won't have to play Snakes and Ladders ever again. And the game has been actually really good for most of it. It just had this one real low point. So I'm hoping it picks back up. And Tuesdays at noon Pacific, I am now playing Kingdom Hearts with Lauren. And we just got through my least favorite world, the Alice in Wonderland world, and we're heading on to the next. So if you want some Kingdom Hearts shenanigans, come by for that. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything. So thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. Also, huge thank yous to everyone who gifted subs and shit tonight. We had a fucking massive hype train at the beginning of the stream, so I'm going to try and get through all of these as as well as I can. So thank you to Jess for the 15-month resub, Summer for the 28-month tier 2 resub, Grant for the prime resub for 11 months, Grant for 6 subs, then Summer for 5, then Grant for 3, then Grant for 3 again, then Summer for 3, then Jess for 5, then Summer for the 1,000 bits, then VTN Wesley for the 3 subs, 3 gifted subs, then Summer for the 500 bits, then Jess for the 300 bits, then Summer for the 5 gifted subs, then Kawaifu TV for the host, then Anonymous, whoever you are, for the 10 gifted subs, Reliable for the 6-month resub, and Silence for the follow, and Kawaii for the YouTube subscription. Thank you all so much. Holy crap. I set a sub goal like last night while I was setting up for the E3 stuff, and I was like, I'll just have it on screen for E3. And y'all blew through it immediately. So thank you so much for helping make streaming a sustainable thing for me to do. It really does make a huge difference. Thank you. But most importantly, have a wonderful rest of your night. Good night.